Hey everybody, Mark from Hilltopper Bikes here to talk to you about switching out your tire. It's the same process for any of our kits, but I just want to walk through it because not everybody's going to have the same tire. So our kits, they all come with the same tire. It's a nice Kenda tire. It's about 35 millimeters or 1.5 inches. And, you know, a lot of bikes, this fits great. No questions asked, just throw the wheel on, ready to roll. That's why we include it, so you can just go. But if you're on a skinny tire road bike, you're probably going to want to switch it out. If you're on a big mountain bike, you're also going to want to switch it out. But the process is exactly the same, regardless what tire size is your preference or what bike is your preference. So I'm putting this on my mountain bike, so I'm going to go put this big meaty tire on there. The steps are pretty simple, and you don't really need any tools per se. You're going to want a pump and some tire levers. There's a lot of different styles out there. This one is really common. I prefer these brightly colored Pedro's tire levers, but either way, you're going to need some kind of tire lever to help get the tire off the rim. So the first thing we're going to do, unscrew our valve cap here, set that down, and let some air out. I like to use the tire lever because my finger doesn't really fit in there that well. It does, but not great. So use the corner of this and really let the air out fast. So once you get it deflated, it's nice and squishy. So you can take your tire lever, pop it under there, slide this around. And the rubber will basically just peel off. There you go. And then go to the valve, and you want to push that out. So now we have it out of the hole in the rim, and the tire will just slide right off. Bam. We don't need that. But we are going to put on this big honkin' tire. So, same thing. Valve cap. Use the lever to let some air out. There's a lot of air in these big tires. Generally speaking, the bigger the tire, the more air, so the longer it's going to take. But sometimes you don't really even have to deflate the whole thing. Just get it low enough that you can get the tire, because ultimately you're just going to pump it back up. If you're switching to a tire that's much bigger or much smaller, you're going to want to use the inner tube from the tire you're switching to. You don't want to use the tube that came with the tire that you're getting rid of, because it won't fit very well. If you go into a big tire like this and you use that smaller inner tube, you're going to expand it really far, and it's going to get really thin and be more, well, less durable, I should say. If you're putting that size tube, big fat one, inside a skinny little road tire, it's just not going to fit. So you want to use the one that comes with your original tire. So again, with the lever in here, it has this little scooped end. Push the tire away from the rim. Slide that scoop under there. Let's pull it out. So it's just a nice little motion. Slide it around. Tire peels right off. Push your valve out. Slide the valve out. Pull the second half of the tire off. Now you can set your old wheel aside because you're not going to be riding it anytime soon. Now, the big thing you're going to want to pay attention to is the tread pattern on your tire. There's a million different tread patterns, but most of them are directional. So somewhere on your tire, it'll probably say which way is forward. Let's see. This tire doesn't have an arrow, but the tire I just took off does. In case you're curious. But installation now is super simple. So we have our tube inside the tire. It's already partially inflated. If you're doing a new tire and a new tube, I suggest inflating the tube just enough that it'll hold its nice ring shape without being too dense. So I like to start with the valve in hand, come over, and we're just going to line up the valve with our hole and drop it in. Okay, so you push it in, now your valve is sticking out. Now, one side at a time, we're going to get the tire on the rim. So I will start with the back side. So we have the tire in front of the wheel here. Oh, I'm going backwards. So again, gotta check your direction. On our wheels, the cable side is on the same side as the chain of the bike. So if I'm facing that way, that direction is going to be forward. So we'll have the tire in the right direction. Otherwise, you'll have a bunch of drag, or it might not have the grip it's designed to. Okay, so valve in the hole, push it in there. You can see that sticking out, right? Now, just one side of the tire on at a time. So I'll spin this around so you can see. Basically, I'm just going to push the rubber on. You don't have to hold up the wheel like I am while you're doing this, but for me, that works. So, now we're looking at it. One side of the tire is on, flip it back around, the other side is still hanging off. You want to start at the valve to get this second side on, otherwise you'll end up with a tight spot at the other end, or you'll be running into the valve. So, basically push the bead in, and you want to hold it so it doesn't try to come back out. Basically, you just feed the tire in all the way around. And you'll notice I'm starting at the valve and going away from it so that we're ending opposite the valve. That way we have the most tire to work with. Okay. That's pretty much it. Now that the tire is seated, you just grab your pump and pump it up. Your tire will stay on the edge. How much pressure to get it to. Usually there's a range. Depends on your comfort and your riding style. But if you have a decent pump, it'll have a little gauge on there, and so you can get it to roughly the right zone. But that's it. Our tire's on. All we got to do now is pump her up, and we're ready to ride. Thanks.